We are now going to use the magnetic lasso tool. You can use the magnetic lasso tool to make freehand selections of areas with high contrast edges. When you draw with the magnetic lasso tool, the selection border automatically snaps to the edge between areas of contrast. You can also control the selection path by occasionally clicking the mouse to place anchor points in the selection border. So zoom into this at least 100%. I'm at 200% because it just makes it easier for everybody to see. And we're going to select our magnetic lasso tool. Magnetic lasso tool. You see it's got a little magnet on it. Click once along the left edge of the Nautilus. So we're just clicking. I'm not holding anything down now. And then I'm going to move the magnetic lasso tool along the edge to trace its outline. So start doing that. So just start moving it along. And you see that it's adding, I'm not adding these little points. The computer's doing it. Photoshop's doing it. It's much smarter than I am. So we're going to go all the way around. I might want to click right here, and that added one in that corner because it was trying to miss it, so I clicked. So anytime you want to add a point, you can click it. When you reach the left side of the Nautilus again, double click to return the magic lasso tool to the starting point. So double click and voila, everything is selected. So I'm going to show you a little shortcut. We've been going view and then fit on screen. Here's another way you can do it. This little hand tool. If I double click that, it does the same thing. Shortcut, select the move tool. And we're going to drag this Nautilus up here to E and have it where you got a little shadow. Everything's got a little shadow. And then we're going to Command D. There you go. Another way to do it. Click File, Save. We are now going to select from a center point. In some cases, it's easier to make an elliptical or rectangular selection by drawing a selection from an object center point. We're going to use this technique to select the head of the screw for the shadow box corners. I want to give you a little tip. If you ever want to create a perfect circle or a straight line, if you hold down the Shift key as you drag, holding down the Shift key while dragging will make a perfect square if you were doing a square, or a perfect circle if you're doing a circle. So you can use that method, or you can use any other method that we've done. So zoom into about 300%, and we're going to select the infamous elliptical marquee tool. So move the pointer to approximate center of the screw, and we're going to click and begin dragging. Then without releasing the mouse button, we're going to press the Alt or the Option as you continue dragging the selection to the outer edge of the screw. The selection will then be centered over its starting point. When you have the entire screw head selected, release the mouse button first and then release the Alt or Option key and the Shift key if you used it. Do not deselect, because then we're going to do something with it. So get right about to the middle, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key and start dragging. You see that my circle is perfect. And then I'm going to hold down the Option key, and you see that it's doing it from the middle now. Once you start doing that, when you get to the edge, I'm going to release the mouse button first and then the Alt and other thing. So if you wanted to resize that, you can. And if you accidentally release the Alt or Option key before you release the mouse button, you can select the screw again. So, now we're going to move the screw to the lower right corner of the wooden shadow box and then duplicate it for other corners. You'll start by moving the screw, but it's too large for the space and we're going to need to resize it as well. Before you begin, make sure the screw is still selected. If not, reselect it by completing what we just did. Then we're going to fit this on the screen. Select the Move tool. You see that when you do this, it changes to skizzers. And we're going to simply drag it to the lower corner of the shadow box. And you see that it's too big. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click Edit. And then go to, I click File. Blah. It's like, why don't I see Transform? And then Scale. And you see it has the boxes around it. And we're going to drag it down to small enough that it fits well. If the screw won't move or resize smoothly as if it gets stuck, hold down the Control key to temporarily disable snapping to Magenta Smart Guides as you drag, or permanently disable them by deselecting the View Show Smart Guides command. So as you resize, the selection marquee resizes too. Both resize proportionally by default. So once you get it down to the size you want, press Enter or the check mark that was up there. And then use the Move tool to reposition the screw after resizing it so it's centered in the corner. So I'm just going to move it right up here. Oop. I think I actually want it, well, yeah, I need it smaller. I want it smaller than that. Okay. All right, you can move and duplicate a selection at the same time. You'll copy the screw for the other three corners of the frame. If the screw is no longer selected, reselect it now using the techniques that we've learned earlier. With the Move tool selected, you're going to press Alt or Option as you position the pointer inside the screw selection. So I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to press. It displays the usual black arrow and an additional white arrow. You see there's two arrows there. One arrow, two arrows. Continuing to hold down the Alt or Option key as you drag a duplicate of the screw straight up to the top right corner of the frame. Release the mouse button and the Alt Option key, but don't deselect the duplicate image. So I'm going to drag this up here and let it go. Look at there. Hold down the Alt, Shift, or Option, Shift, and drag to a new copy of the screw straight to the upper left-hand corner. Remember, pressing the Shift key as you move a selection constrains the movement horizontally in increments of 45 degrees. So I'm going to go. That went straight across because I held down the Shift key. And then repeat step 3. I'm holding down the Shift key so it'll go straight down. Boom. And did you see the, I don't know if you saw it, see the little purple line? That means that it's lined up with the one on the far right hand side. So they're in the exact same spot. So when you're satisfied with the position of the fourth screw, let's Command D to deselect it. Look at there. Let's click File and then Save.